Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And this episode, we've been kind of dumping on a lot of these horror movies. And although we've liked a lot of them for different reasons, there's things in them that we kind of take a dump on. So we decided to give you two of our favorites of all time. For me, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. Not the remake in 2010, but the original is my favorite. Corey, for you?
My favorite is the original 1978 Halloween, not the remake with Rob Zombie and blah,
Yes,
blah, blah.
yes. We need to be clear on these things.
Yes.
Because I know there's people out there that have seen Halloween 1 and 2 by Rob Zombie and thought those were like the originals. I know there's people out there that have seen 2010 A Nightmare on Elm Street and thought that was like that's the nightmare. Even though the Freddy Krueger mask and the Halloween mask, the Michael Myers mask have been around for, I don't know, 40 years now.
Bro, nothing exists until you are born.
Yeah, exactly. Just
I've the way
that.
it is.
I've learned that over the years. So do you want to start off, or would you like me to start off, or do we have an advertiser you'd like to start off with this week?
We do have an advertiser this week. Thank you for asking me, Armando.
Hey, no problem.
This week, Kiss the Reviews is sponsored by David's Asian Delicacies. House full of boys constantly complaining about their boring dinner? Sick and tired of cooking all day just to have everyone sit in front of the television? David knows exactly how you feel, which is why he created David's Asian Delicacies. With David's Asian Delicacies, you can get your dinner and nightly entertainment delivered hot and fresh. We take our time to cultivate our products directly from the earth and prepare them just the way you like. Once ready, we'll fly by and literally rip the roof right off of your house and hand deliver the freshest Asian-style food you've ever enjoyed. Wait, did someone say something about entertainment? We sure did! Now that you've got your dinner and are enjoying a night under the stars in your roofless home, the magic show can start. David Blaine? Boring. Chris Angel? Seen it. Take one sip of David's complimentary wine that's definitely not blood, and you will have the ability to entertain the kids for days. Is that rice you're eating, little Johnny? Think again, stupid. It's maggots. How about your noodles, darling Susie? Oops, I meant your worms. David's fine Asian delicacies are not to be consumed if you enjoy sunlight, meat cooked in any way, or have an irrational fear of holy water, garlic, or any sharp or pointy wooden things. David's fine Asian delicacies are located in all caves throughout the greater Santa Clara area. David's fine Asian delicacies. You'll never eat human food again.
They don't have a great Yelp score, but I'll try them.
Yeah, worth a try.
So let's get into it. Would you like to start off with A Nightmare, or would you like to start off with Halloween?
You know what, buddy? Let's start off with Nightmare. Yes. I am actually noticing, too, on your shirt, Freddie and Mike are chilling on the roof together.
Yes, they are, of the Mystery Machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one. I love this. I love this shirt.
Oh, it's a great shirt. Anyway, yeah, let's start with Nightmare.
Yeah, let's do that. So I just watched Nightmare again, and we were talking about this. I haven't seen the original Nightmare since, I don't know, probably last October. It's a staple of mine every single October around Halloween. And to be perfectly honest, A Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween are the two staples in this household.
Yes.
We have to watch those on Halloween.
Samesies.
But this movie, for me, and again, I know, the horror movie genre started with, your Texas Chainsaw Massacre, your Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street didn't come out till 84 or 84. But for me, this was the first horror movie that I ever saw.
Yeah.
And this got me into the horror movie genre.
Well, this is a goodie.
Because when I saw this, the what I really liked about this, and when we talked about Dream Warriors, you said, it was a little bit more campy, and from memory, I was like, well, not really. He joked a lot, and he did have a couple of one-liners in the original.
Well,
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
He was more maniacal, and instead of, oh, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm clumsy, and he was more, it was more like a cat playing with a mouse.
Exactly.
He was screwing with you the entire, the entire time that he was chasing you. It was more about him just enjoying it.
Right. You were already dead the second you got into that dream.
Yeah.
You just didn't know it.
Exactly. I mean, I loved every part about this. And the one thing that I really did like is, and we'll talk about horror movie tropes and cliches in another episode. But the fact that Nancy was the strong woman lead, that she didn't waver. Yes, she ran away. She didn't fall down. She didn't, oh, oopsie, my blousey came open. There was none of that. She was just a very strong lead, heroine in the movie.
She was great.
And they couldn't have picked a better person. Is it Heather Langenkamp?
Correct.
She was fantastic in the movie. Loved her. And you cannot pick a better person to play Freddy Krueger than Robert Englund. You just can't.
Oh no, it's perfect.
I've seen him in other movies and other horror movies. I mean, he's on the Mount Rushmore of horror movie actors.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And I've seen him in other horror movies. He never did a better job than he did playing Freddy Krueger.
No, he is Freddy. Period.
For better or worse, until the day he dies, he's Freddy Krueger. And I don't know. For me, I love everything about this. I take all of the small little I could have done without that. I could have done without that, and I throw them out the window. I enjoy watching this movie, and I think part of it is because it scared me so bad as a kid that I had nightmares for a month after I saw this movie the first time.
Oh yeah, this and it's funny, the original Hellraiser were two of the first movies I remember, like 5th, 6th grade, seeing where they fucked me up.
Yep.
I mean, just messed me up hard. Freddy as a killer, you really can't get much better. He was great. He was scary. He was, evil. Even the claws, which are kind of, that's become kind of a goof now. Like everybody wants a claw, blah, blah, blah. The claws at that time were such an amazing weapon. Because before it was, the standard trope was, we're going to kill you with shit you find in your house.
Yep.
I'm going to pick up your butcher knife. I'm going to pick up your weed whacker, your lawnmower, whatever the fuck they were using.
Yeah.
That's what they did. It was all household items. Freddy was just like, oh no, I came prepared, bitch. Let's do this. Like, I thought this was a potluck. I'm ready to carve you motherfuckers up.
Yeah.
And my favorite part about Nightmare isn't necessarily Heather versus Freddy. It is all of the sub-characters. Because their backstories, while they're just kind of glossed over by and large, are not like the mother's an alcoholic and is a mess throughout that whole movie. The dad is he's checked out. He just doesn't care about shit.
And I read a little bit further into it nowadays than I did, obviously, when I was younger. Mm-hmm. But if you think back to how the story is set up, he was a child murderer, and the one of the things I didn't like about the 2010 reboot of it, besides Freddy himself, they made the child molestation the main topic. It was an undertone in this whole movie, in a really creepy undertone too.
Yeah, but it was more about murdering.
Yes.
Than it was sexualizing.
Exactly.
The children.
So that's one of the things that I really like. But he was this child murderer, and molested children, and the parents, he got off on a technicality. The parents said, screw this. They tracked him down to his boiler room and lit the dude on fire, and killed him.
And you're seeing the causality of that.
In my
And
adult,
that's what's great.
in my adult brain, I'm like, well, yeah, I guess that would fuck you up a little bit.
Even if you think, because we all talk that shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I wish motherfucking Jared from Subway walk up and I fuck him up.
Yes, exactly.
And nobody wants to have to kill somebody. You know what I mean? That's like the last thing a human being should ever want to do to another human being. So when you actually take that step, and showing the effects that has had on this entire street or community of people, it's amazing.
No,
it really is. It's just it's a great story that they were able to. They put just enough in and left just enough out.
Yep.
Where it was like that perfect recipe of, we can use our imaginations to get halfway there. You direct us the rest of the way.
Yep.
And it just nailed it. And the gore factor too, because this was one of the first movies I remember. Because we've talked about, we're going to talk about Halloween. We've talked about Friday the 13th. The gore in those is almost non-existent.
It's minimal. Yeah.
Friday the 13th has gore altogether, but in Halloween, I think there's maybe 2 scenes with blood at all. And Friday the 13th, or I'm sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street was one of those first movies where it was like, they use gore in all the right ways.
Yes.
The waterbed scene with Johnny Depp is one of the most iconic scenes ever. The gooey stairs Heather's walking up towards the end when she realizes she's still in this dream. Dude, that still grosses me out to this day. I was watching it this morning. I was just like, oh, like there are so many iconic scenes. And one of the scariest ones for me was when I think Heather is seeing dead Tina in her body bag, which I almost went into a fucking mental institution after I saw that. Cause I was like, nope, I'm out. Keep my money for the ticket. Don't want it back. I'm out.
Yeah.
But when she says something about the hall pass and the chick turns around who's got the bloody nose and Freddy's sweater and glove. Dude, that movie, it is a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
Of horror. If you were going to make a horror film and you go one of 2 ways, Halloween way or the Nightmare way, you can't go wrong by studying those 2 films.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about Halloween, because this is, I don't have, it's hard for me to put together like, what's your favorite horror movie? What's your favorite whatever? It's hard for me to put together lists because my brain doesn't think that way. But if I had to pick like my favorite horror movie, like a Nightmare on Elm Street is 1A and Halloween is 1B, because they're both great and for different reasons for me.
100%.
So I'll let you, since Halloween's your favorite, I'll let you wax poetic on it.
Oh, well, way to set me up for failure, ass. So Halloween is widely revered as like the first slasher film. There were other movies like Black Christmas and some other shit that came out, but this was the first one that took off into the stratosphere and introduced the slasher to all of us. And I know technically I'm cheating because this movie was released in 1978, but eat me. I don't care. So the iconic things I like about this movie, one, the POV camera shot. I forget what movie we talked about this in. I think it may have been Friday. But yeah, the POV camera shot of the killer. And even a step further in Halloween, where the killer, he puts on his mask and you see him through you have the shadow of the mask around his eye holes. It's brilliant way to shoot. Having him as a child kill his sister because she wouldn't take him out trick-or-treating and boned out her boyfriend. That's one of those things where everyone as a kid, especially if you have older siblings, I'm not saying you felt like killing them. Do not fucking comment on that shit. I'm saying though that you had sisters or brothers or whatever that were like, nah, not today. And it upset you. It pissed you off.
Yep.
Never to that extent, but his broken mind, and then Donald Pleasance's continued beating of the fact that he's not a man, he's evil. He calls it it.
He's evil incarnate.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's driving this fear home, and having him be the psychiatrist who had been treating Michael. So even if you're like, dude, he's evil, really? It's like, dude, he's been a psychiatrist treating this guy for like 18 years. You know what I mean? Like, he knows, like, he gets it. He spent the most time with him.
Yeah.
So him being that authority figure, driving that home, was fantastic. Obviously, again, a lot of cliches come into this movie because they invented them. The virginal Jamie Lee Curtis is the only one able to survive. If you have sex, your ass is dead.
Yes.
Ike's going to get you. But like, you know, that, the running upstairs when you should be running out the front door, all of these great things came out of this movie. But frankly, the thing that scared me the most was the mask. Michael Myers' dead, white, expressionless face.
Yep.
Everything was amazing. And the way he would, like, there's the scene in the kitchen after Bob and I think Linda had sex.
Yep.
PJ Souls. Oh, I love him. Anyway, so Bob and Linda have had sex, and Bob is downstairs, and he gets stabbed and hung up on the wall. And Michael just kind of stands there for a second, and the camera stays steady on him, and he just kind of slightly turns his head, like, interesting. That kind of creepy shit was so well done by John Carpenter.
Yeah,
it's just it's a fantastic movie.
That is honestly one of my favorite scenes in Halloween. He's admiring his work, like that, and it's those and we talked about it. I forget what episode it was, but we talked about the nonverbals.
Yeah,
the nonverbal acting that people do, and it's one of the things that makes Michael Myers such a scary, villain or evil, big bad. It's also one of the things that, like, it makes you feel weird on the inside a little bit. So that's, and you're right. The Michael Myers mask. If you ever get a chance, anybody out there watching, to watch any of these documentaries there's one that John Carpenter did.
Yep.
It's just basically the whole behind the scenes. This is how we shot this. This is how we shot that. These are the kids. One of I forget the woman's name, but it's her hand stabbing the sister.
Right.
But like just little things like that, how they shot it. I mean, they shot this thing, and I just saw this for $300,000, which even for back then wasn't a big budget.
No.
And it made, I think, $48 million, or it was just under $50 million just in the United States when this came out. That shows you that how big Michael Myers was, how great the movie was. And again, on a $300,000 budget, you got to be really creative in how you shoot it.
Yep.
And John Carpenter.
Hence the avoidance of gore.
Yeah, John Carpenter, one of the all-time greats, if not the all-time great. But you talk about Mount Rushmores, he's on that Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah, it's like him, Craven, Tobe Hooper, and I don't even know who else would be on there.
I don't know.
Hitchcock, duh. So. Yeah, I think the biggest payoff, excuse me, the biggest payoff in this movie is when you get the confirmation that Dr. Loomis, Donald Pleasance, was correct.
One of the best characters ever, by the way.
Love him.
Yeah.
Love him. But that confirmation at the end, he shot him 6 times, he tumbles over the balcony, they look down, and he's gone. So this whole time, they keep it floating around. Is Loomis right? Or is this guy just, is Loomis eccentric because Michael Myers is just a guy?
Yeah.
And having that confirmation at the end, him just disappearing, and then the music starting to play, which, by the way, by far and away the best music score of any
I was
any horror movie.
I was gonna say that the score, horror movies in general. You talk about the original Jaws, Friday the 13th,
Yes.
Halloween, and an underrated score is A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, very much.
The piano, the little like single note piano.
Mhm.
That's a super underrated score because I mean it gets overshadowed by Halloween is by far one of the most at least one of the most hummed or talked about
Yes.
scores in horror
How
movies.
many of you out there right now have that ringtone for your wife or your spouse? Enough said.
Yeah.
But yeah, the score, it's not only the theme song, which of course we could just talk about that for days.
Yeah.
But even the noises the sounds they create when something is about to happen, when you get that jump scare.
Yeah.
The real high pitched squeal of like that synthesizer or whatever. It was all great, and it just added more to the fear level. Because you're already going to jump when he pops out, but then hearing that, it's just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You really get it. You feel it in your cockles.
In your cockles?
In your cockles. In your lower cockles.
I don't think we could say that. No, I totally agree. I absolutely love this. The original Halloween, Halloween 2 was fantastic. And again, you're talking about A Nightmare and Halloween, which were two of the biggest horror movie franchises in the 80s and moving into the 90s.
Well, it's three. If you're talking horror movie franchises, it's three movies. It's Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
In no particular order.
Yeah. Now, the sad thing is, with those franchises, they tend to stray and they tend to
Well, you can only go so far with quality material.
Yeah, they go a little bit off the beaten path, and then when the fans, and this is one thing why I like horror movie, the genre in general, because when you're talking about rom-coms or thrillers or whatever, they don't give a crap what the fans think.
Right.
When a horror movie strays, and when something like A Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween strays from its path, and the fans of that franchise push back, they're like, hey guys, I think we screwed that up. The next movie is 1,000 times better every single time. They reel it all back in, and they're like, all right, let's get back to what made this popular in the first place.
Right.
But that's one of the reasons why I like both of these franchises, and both of these movies are freaking phenomenal. And I'll be honest, as a grown man, a lot of horror movies don't scare me now because I'm like, oh, that can't happen, that can't happen. There's a little bit down in your cockles apparently.
Yes.
That still like gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like I still get a little scared at certain parts. You know what I mean?
And it's that nostalgia because I mean, you said Nightmare was one of the first you had ever watched. Mm-hmm. Halloween in my family, like that's what my mother and I did. New Halloween movie came out, we went to see it.
Yep.
That was just my childhood and growing up, not only getting to be scared myself and experience the movie, but also watching my parents, well, mainly my mother, be scared of the movie.
Yeah.
Added something to it. Like we watched, fast story, we went to the theater and watched Halloween 4 or 5. And it was the return of Michael Myers or the curse of Michael Myers, but it was one of the ones where Mike was finally coming back. My dad was out of town, so it was just my mother and I at the house. Go to the movie theater, watch the movie, scare the shit out of ourselves, drive home. Mother parks in the driveway, says, okay, go check the house.
That's great.
I said, what?
That's great.
She said, I need you to go clear the house because I'm not going to go in there until you get back, and you're the man of the house right now. So I had to go in and literally sweep the house for Michael Myers before my mother would come in to the house.
That's
That
awesome.
is what horror movies mean to me. That's the level we're talking about with this series in particular.
That's great. I love it. I love it.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's all I got for those two. You got anything else?
No, man, they're perfect. If you haven't seen them, go see them. If you have seen them, watch them again. Do yourself a favor. Turn the lights off. You know, get weird with it, man. Scare you the shit out of yourself. There is nothing when able to do it in a safe way. There is nothing better than laughing or scaring the shit out of yourself.
Absolutely.
Because oftentimes you laugh right after you do.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews. This was A Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween. We had to do them both together because they are two of our favorites. Like, subscribe, comment, and let us know if you want us to cover any other movies.
Let us know what your favorite horror movie is.
There you go. For Corey, I'm Armando. We'll see you guys later.